guys, it's Devin, and today I am going to do a tag called My Imperfect Life. I was tagged by Samantha Shurman. I don't think I'm never tagged by anybody but her, so I'm glad that she tagged me because I actually love doing tags. This one is a little bit different than the majority of them. In this tag, you tell two struggles that you've had in your life that you overcome, one positive outcome from that struggle, and two positive personality traits that you developed due to that struggle. So this is definitely a in-depth into my life type tag. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it at first. Might potentially tear up. Going to try not to. I teared up during her video, so there's a great possibility I might during mine. But I'm going to try not to. So this is definitely a huge... These two struggles are something that I really don't let people into. My closest friends know about them, and my family, and that's it. So this is really a big deal. So the first struggle that I had in my life, and I touched a little bit on this during my last tag video that I did. I wasn't tagged by anybody, and I don't know if I'll upload this one first or the Who I Am tag first. Probably this one. But I touched a little bit on it then. My first struggle came when I was 17. I was just a bad kid. I really was. I was like hell. I mean, I was like the demon child for my parents, and I would sneak out. I was hanging with the wrong crowd. And this started when I was like 13 years old. So yeah, my teenage years were not great for anyone. I mean, they were great for me because I was drunk the majority of the time, but they weren't great on my parents. And when I was 17, I had finally settled down. When I was 16, I settled down, and I started behaving, and I followed rules, and everything was going great. You know, I'd finally gotten over those rough years where you just kind of don't really know who you are, and you try to find yourself in everything. You try to find yourself in the friend that you know is really not a friend but wants to hang out with you, that's leading you down the wrong path. You try to find yourself in that path, and you try to find yourself in so many ways that you know are wrong decisions, but you make them anyway. So that was, you know, I finally got over that, and I finally had found myself, I thought, and things were going great. And then when I was 17, my dad left my mom. They had been married almost 20 years. He left her in April of 1999, and they would have been married 20 years, October 10th of 1999. So, that like kind of came out of nowhere. There were no signs. She had seen no signs. They had struggled a couple of times in my youth with infidelity on his behalf, and she, you know, had fought to keep the marriage so that I would have a father to raise me. And sometimes I think it may have, I understand completely where she was coming from, but sometimes I think that maybe the divorce would have been easier on me had I been younger, because I think at that age, divorce, your parents getting divorced is kind of, you would think it would be easier, but for me it was harder. So yeah, the dad leaving part kind of threw me right back into the downward spiral that I had just dragged myself out of. This time it was even worse. It was alcohol all the time, people, really bad people that I should never have been around. I thought were friends. I was running around all the time, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like my bedtime. Drugs, you know, not like hardcore drugs or anything, but you know, just stupid shit. And this lasted from the time I was 17 until I got pregnant, which was, I got pregnant. This lasted from April of '99 to December of '99. So this one didn't last near as long as my first issues, because I got pregnant in December of '99, and that, you know, I mean, obviously that was the end of the booze and the partying, and I immediately became very maternal and just wanted to, you know, it was everything, you know, when you become a mother, or when you know that you're going to become a mother, everything immediately becomes about your child. Is this person somebody I want my child around? Is this a place where I want my child to be? Do I want my child to grow up in this environment or that environment? So that immediately straightened me out. But getting over my parents' divorce, that I was not over it when I got pregnant. I don't really know if you can get over your parents' divorce. That was a huge struggle for me. I think I finally found peace. It took me years and years to find peace with that. But yeah, that was my first huge struggle in life that I dealt with, because we weren't like rich, but we were upper middle class. My dad worked at General Motors. You know, he was a health and safety representative, and we made, you know, pretty decent money, and I had a lot of nice things and a lot of name brand things, and I shopped at the mall, and you know, we had new cars, and it was going from that to literally living in the ghetto. I'm serious. I literally I moved into the ghetto and my mom came with me, because we went from having everything to basically having nothing. And yeah, he paid her alimony, but that alimony was not anywhere near, you know, enough to keep us living the way we had been living. So while he was off gallivanting around with, you know, his current wife, we were living in the ghetto, fighting roaches, stuff that we never had ever had to deal with and never thought we were going to. So it was a real big struggle for both of us. And the positive outcome of that struggle was me and my mom are inseparable. We are so close. It's not even funny. She lives with us right now. We never live more than 5 minutes from each other. We are like two peas in a pod. So that's definitely a positive outcome. I have to say probably the only positive outcome that came from the divorce is me and her growing closer. Because prior to the divorce, I was a daddy's girl. I just was. Two positive personality traits I now have due to that struggle. The first trait I would say due to that struggle is I learned how to fight. And I don't mean in the physical, like, you know, beat you up, Muhammad Ali type fight. I mean the fight for your relationships. You know, specifically like me and my fiance. I learned if you love someone, fight for them. Don't walk away. Don't give up on them, because no matter what you're going through, if you truly and honestly love that person, it doesn't matter what is going on in your life. I mean, me and Shannon have been through so much shit, and I'll get to that in just a minute, because that's one of my second struggles. But I mean, me and Shannon we've been homeless, we have been broke, we have literally lived in motels. I mean, we have been through a lot, but I learned to fight. I learned to not just say fuck it and leave. I learned to stick with it, and if it's important enough, you stick with it. You don't give up on somebody because they gained weight. You don't give up on somebody because they don't make enough money or because they spend too much money. I'm a fighter. Plain and simple, I am a fighter. The second personality trait I got from that is, I would have to say, loyalty. If I love you and you are important to me, I am loyal to a fault. I am extremely, extremely loyal. My mom, my kids, my fiance, my really close friends, I will never ever leave. That goes right along with fighting. No matter what happens, I will never leave. I'm loyal to those people that I love, that mean enough to me for me to be loyal to. And I think that kind of came from the fact that I felt like he really wasn't loyal and that he didn't fight. He just left. You know, things got a little hard and he just left. So I didn't feel like he was loyal to my mom. I didn't feel like he was loyal to me. And I didn't feel like he fought for either one of us. So those are two positive personality traits I got from that specific struggle. Struggle number 2 came, it'll be 2 years in October. So it came in October of 2009. Me and Shannon had been together for 6 years at the time. And when he first moved in with me, he was a heavy drinker. He drank every night. When he moved in with me, he stopped. And we never had an issue with it. We never had an issue with him stopping. He just stopped. You know, we would have a few drinks together every once in a while, and everything was fine for 6 years. And then October of 2009, I think there were just so many things leading up to it that as men, most men tend to not talk about their feelings. And there were so many things that were going on in our life that obviously were upsetting him. And he didn't talk to me about them, and they just kept building up and building up. And then he had stuff at work that wasn't going, you know, the way he wanted it to, and responsibilities at work that he couldn't handle, that he couldn't deal with. And he didn't talk to me, he didn't talk to anybody about it. He started drinking, and he was on second shift at the time, and he drank every single night. And I didn't know what to look for, so I wasn't really paying attention because I was asleep when he would come in. But then he would start waking me up by dropping things, and he would get up the next morning and still be drunk, and never really be sober, actually, because he was just drinking so heavily. And it was bad. It was really, really bad, because that's something that my children are not exposed to. When I do drink, I do it away from the home. I don't do it around my children. I don't come around my children drunk. None of that. They don't sit and see anybody drink. So that's not something that I wanted them exposed to. And he was just in a really bad place. And I ended up waking him up one day, and he was on the couch. The kids were there. He woke up. He was still drunk. He jumped up off the couch and acted like he was going to hit me. And I kicked him out. I told him to get his shit and get the fuck out of my house, and get the fuck away from me and the fuck away from my kids. Because that's just not behavior that is acceptable around my kids. And I can't credit myself only for us getting back together. I mean, he had to do it as well, but he stayed gone for 3 days. I stayed in contact with his mom during that 3 days, because that's where he went, obviously, to his mom's house. And he was off the wagon bad, and there were a lot of issues going on there, and he was just in a really bad place. And he wouldn't talk to me, and when he did call me, he would call me and he would be drunk. And those were the 3 worst days of my life. since the divorce. And even now, those were the 3 worst days of my life. It was hell because I thought I was losing him. And anybody who's experienced heartache and anybody who has experienced a breakup with someone that you are deeply in love with knows that it's just the worst feeling in the world. I mean, I literally felt like my heart was breaking inside. I cried constantly, and it was awful. And he was ready to give up. He was ready to throw in the towel. And finally, after 3 days, I drove to his job and I waited for him to get off work, and I convinced him to come home and talk to me. And of course, he got drunk and yada yada yada. But ultimately, we talked, and we talked it out, and he got his feelings out, and we came to the agreement that had to stop. That he loves the kids like they're his own, and he didn't realize. I don't think he didn't realize how much it was affecting everybody around him. So we talked it out, and everything's fine now. He doesn't drink. He hasn't. That was about a 6-month period there. He was about how long that was, and it was a struggle, and it's kind of a daily struggle to really trust him, because I think once somebody kind of breaks the trust, it's extremely hard to gain it back. Slowly but surely, I'm gaining it back, but it's still hard. I still question him some days, and I still look for the signs, and I probably always will, but I loved him enough to go and fight for him, and he loves me enough, and he loves his kids enough to stay and fight for us. So, we're solid. The positive outcome of that is the fact that we are solid. I think, the struggles that me and him have dealt with, that and, all the other struggles have made us even closer. We know that we can literally get through anything together, and we're going to be together forever. That it's just nothing life can throw at us is ever going to be something that's strong enough to tear us apart. I think that's the positive outcome that came from that. We can overcome anything together. 2 positive personality traits I now have due to that struggle. I'm smarter when it comes to looking for signs of someone being drunk. I don't know if that's a real personality trait, but I'm more aware, I would say. Yeah, that's a personality trait. I'm more aware of things around me and people around me and their attitudes and stuff around me. Another personality trait that is positive that I gained from that is happiness, I think, a little bit, because for that 6 months I wasn't happy, and he wasn't happy, obviously, and I'm happy now. Happiness with our relationship. I mean, I'm not happy all the time. There's aspects of my life, myself personally, that I'm not happy about, and things that I could change. But as far as, a personality trait, generally try to be a really happy person now. So yeah. There's my tag. I made it through. I didn't cry. I'm so stinking proud of myself. But I think that, this is a really good one out there, especially for teenagers or younger adults that think that, what they're going through nobody else has ever dealt with, or thinks that, they just can't deal with it, because you can't. You are stronger than what you think you are. And you can become a fighter, and you can fight for what you believe in, and fight for who you love, and fight for what you think is right. And I think that is something that everybody should do. You should fight for your loved ones. You should always, constantly fight for what you believe in. And I think this is great for people who maybe think that there's just no hope, but there is. I promise you. I've been in that position where I have just been, to hell with it. Forget it, fuck it, I'm done. no, you will make it through. There will be better days, and I really, really think that everything's going to be okay. I know it is. And I think this is a great tag to let people know that there are those of us out there, and I think everybody has dealt with struggles. So I think this is a great tag. Very, you know, I think it's a really inspirational tag for people who may be going through the same things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't like Debbie Downer. You know, it was kind of hard for me to do this, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now you know a little bit more about me. So thank you so much, Sam, for tagging me. And I tag everybody. I will put specifics down in the down bar, but probably the same people that I always tag, specifically Katie Doll, Lurbagal, Lala Dances, and I'll put a couple more in the down bar that I want to tag. But I tag all of you to do this. I think it's a great tag. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.